Hello everyone, today we are going to cook an unrealistically long shawarma. Presumably it will take 4 days to prepare it. The first day, let's start it by marinating a whole chicken. To do this, take a pot of water and send in 6 tablespoons of salt, 6 tablespoons of sugar, a mixture of peppers, coriander, and bay leaves, After that, we send the pan to the burner and boil for 15 minutes. We leave this brine outside to cool and immerse the chicken so that the marinade completely covers it. We send this into the refrigerator for 3 days. It is necessary that this brine completely penetrates the chicken. The second type of meat will be such a lamb cut. We make incisions between each rib. After which we pass under the rib itself with a knife and completely cut it out while losing as little meat as possible. Repeat this with all the remaining edges. Done. All the edges are removed. The part of the cut that is thicker we cut and unfold so that the whole piece of meat turns out to be the same thickness. We turn the cut to the other side and cut out the small bones remaining from the spine. And cut off any excess fat. For the marinade at the market, we collected a set of spices for the lamb. Pour this into a bowl. Also open up some homemade ajika. And pour that into the bowl as well. Add a lot of salt. And pour in some oil. Now all you need to do is just mix it all up. We transfer this all to the piece of meat and rub the marinade thoroughly with our hands. We roll this all up into a really dense roll. Transfer it to some food film and seal the roll tightly. Now we leave this in the refrigerator for 3 days. Day 2. We decided to make one of my most favorite but very long in cooking, nar sharub sauce. It's a pomegranate sauce. To clean them quickly, cut off the top of the pomegranate. Now the white membranes are visible between the grains. That's exactly what you need to make the incisions on them. We open up the pomegranate. And now we just knock out the juicy seeds with a tablespoon. Also, these white membranes can interfere with the loss of the seeds. We remove them as well. repeat the same thing with the rest of the pomegranates. We're left with a lot of juicy seeds. We need to get the juice out of them, so we just crush them. Done. Now we put a sieve on the saucepan and filter out all the juice. Squeeze out the remaining juice from the grains with a tablespoon. Done. We got the purest natural pomegranate juice. We put this on the stove and wait until it boils. After that, we make the heating less than average so that the juice barely bubbles. And after about 6 hours, it evaporates to such a state of syrup. Pour it into a bowl. After cooling, the Nahara sauce is completely ready. Day 3. Let's start with carrots. We've cut them in half, then try to cut them into as thin slices as possible. And then we chop them into thin straws. Done. We transfer the sliced carrots into a bowl and salt them. And carefully rub it around with our hands so that the carrot releases its juices. Let's crush a garlic head. Then peel a couple of cloves. Crush them and grind them into the bowl. Throw them in there. Here are a couple of pinches of sugar. Put a saucepan on the stove and pour some oil into it. A mixture of peppers with peas in a mortar. And grind that into the powder. Let's set it into the oil. This includes marjoram, turmeric, ground coriander, and mustard peas. We heat the spices in oil so that they reveal their flavor to the maximum and pour them into the carrots. Now mix it up. Now we just need to add some apple cider vinegar, mix for one more time, and put this all into the jar. We leave this to marinate for 1 day in the refrigerator. For the main sauce, let's squeeze out some mayonnaise, kefir, and sour cream into a bowl. For spices, add some hot pepper, curry seasoning, hop suneli, and salt. Finally, chop up some dill. Crush some garlic and dice finely. Add to the sauce and mix it up well. The sauce is ready. Now let's take some cabbage and cut it in half, and finally chop it. Transfer to a bowl. We'll need it for tomorrow. last thing we need to do for today is make some pita bread. Pour some flour into a bowl, add salt, pour in a little bit of oil, and some boiling water. Knead the dough first with a spoon, and then with your hands. Dust the table with flour, tear off part of the dough, and roll it into a thin layer. Done. Now let's chop some wood. In order for the lavash to have the smell of smoke, we will cook it on a campfire. Put some dry fuel in the oven and ignite. We install a large frying pan in the oven and spread the dough out on it. Meanwhile, we roll out the next piece. Bubbles begin to appear on the lavash bread, so we turn it over. And for another minute until it's ready. We send the next layer of dough onto the frying pan. After that, we wrap it all in plastic wrap so that the pita bread remains soft. Now we've got our fourth day up, the largest day in terms of work. The chicken has already been completely marinated, and we will smoke it in a smoker. We fill up the coal, and we distribute it with a distributor. Then we take some wood chips from a fruit tree and scatter them on top of the coal. And ignite it on one side. The coal will gradually burn out, and the smoked chips in this system should be enough for the whole day. We soak the chicken with paper towels so that there is no moisture left on it. We close the compartment with coal, and we send the chicken itself to the second one. Smoke will pass right through it, and by evening it will be super smoked. That's it. Let's close the smoker. Potatoes will also go into our shawarma, so we peel them. And cut it first into some thick slices. And then into cubes, like French fries. Done. We light a good fire on the stove, pour a lot of oil into the frying pan, and fry the potatoes. Stir it every couple of minutes so that they're all golden all over. We put the finished potatoes on a tray. The third type of meat in our shawarma will be beef, namely beef cheeks. It is necessary to thoroughly clean them from a very large number of films. Done. Thoroughly salt. Pour some oil over it. And rub that all into the cheeks. First, fry them on the gas grill for literally 2 minutes. and turn them over. You need to get a good crust on them. After that, we put the pan on the stove and transfer the meat into it. Pour some red wine on top. Put a sprig of thyme in there and rosemary. Top up with water and cover with a lid. We leave them to languish slowly for 4 hours, and they're ready. In the grill, we put a bowl for ignition, fill it with coals, set fire to the dry fuel, and put the coals on to ignite. We take out our lamb roll from the refrigerator, which has been marinating for 3 days, and cut it into pieces right in the film. We put them on skewers so that the rolls do not unwind. Done. The coals are already well lit. Put them onto the grill and distribute. That's it. We're going to start frying our shish kebabs. That's for 5 minutes, and we turn over the skewers. We put the ready-made shish kebab on a tray. But of course, such meat will not go into the shawarma itself in the form of a kebab. We remove it from the skewer and cut them into very thin slices. The slices are then transferred to a tray. At a very low temperature, our chicken was smoked all day. And this grill is definitely ready. It turned out very beautiful. We take it out of the smoker. And we cut it up too. Finally chop the chicken. And send that over to the lamb. Now it's time for the beef cheeks. The meat has been languishing for a very long time, so we don't cut into it. It simply tears into fibers, and send the third type of meat to the tray. Tomatoes and cucumbers will also come from vegetables, so we cut them. So, all the ingredients for our shawarma, which we've been preparing for 4 days, are ready. Let's finally assemble a shawarma. We put the main sauce on the pita bread. Spread out the beef. Potato. Tomatoes for juiciness. And the super smoked chicken meat. We spread out some cucumbers, cabbage, Korean-style carrots, pieces of lamb. Pour all this over with the divine nar sharab sauce. And roll up our shawarma. Now we just need to grill it. Done. Our shawarma, which we've been cooking for 4 days, is completely ready. Let's cut into it. Hello everyone. We decided to cook the longest burger. Presumably, it will take 4 days to prepare it. Day 1. Let's start with pork ribs. First of all, we undermine the films. And tear them off. For the marinade, a mixture of peppers in a mortar, and grind them. Throw that into the bowl. There's also a lot of smoked paprika, salt, Worcestershire sauce, and a lot of mustard. Mix up that marinade. And spread it out on the ribs. And rub it in well. We transfer the ribs to a special package. And vacuum seal them. That's it. Send them into the refrigerator for 3 days. Let the marinade penetrate to the maximum. We also decided to pickle some chili peppers. To do this, cut them into circles. Done. Put a saucepan with water on the stove. Add in a lot of sugar. and the same amount of salt. Also pour in some apple cider vinegar. We bring this marinade to a boil and pour chili peppers into it. Boil it all for 5 minutes. And then it's ready. You can pour it into the jar. Day 2. Let's start with making homemade cheese. Put a saucepan on the stove and put in 400 grams of natural cottage cheese into it. Pour 400 milliliters of homemade milk and heat it all up, stirring constantly. After 5 minutes, the liquid turned yellowish, and this means that the serum is separated. We drain all this through a sieve. And we send the clean cheese back to the saucepan. And onto the stove. Add orange dye, half a teaspoon of soda, and the same amount of salt. Over some low heat, we constantly crush and mix the cheese. At some point it'll all melt and it'll almost be ready to eat. Now we quickly prepare a square mold. From the inside we lubricate it with oil. Shift in the melted cheese and distribute it by hand. In an hour it'll all cool down and then it's completely ready. The next thing we need to do is dry some tomatoes. We cut the fresh tomato into 2 parts. Then lay them out on the grill. And sprinkle salt very abundantly. That's it. You can send our fresh tomatoes to the oven. We set it to 70 degrees in the convection mode. We leave them to languish until the next morning. Day 3. Our tomatoes have already dried out very much and have decreased in size by 5 times. We take a jar, pour provincial herbs into it, then load in the dried tomatoes, and pour in olive oil to the top. That's it. At this, the dried tomatoes are ready. We'll need them later. In the meantime, take the onion and peel it from the husk. Cut into half rings. Put a frying pan on the stove and a little oil in there, and put in the onion. It needs to be fried to this slightly brown color. Then pour in the water. Thanks to this, it'll become softer. Now just add some sugar. mix the onion and caramelize. In the end, we get an awesome soft and sweet onion. For the barbecue sauce, peel the red onion and slice. Slice it into strips. Crush a garlic head and peel the cloves. We crush it again and crumble it. Put a saucepan on the burner. Cut off a piece of butter and send it to the saucepan. Now fry the garlic with the onion. We open up a tomato paste and add 4 tablespoons to our sauce. Pour in some whiskey. And add for sweetness a lot of honey. To get that spicy chili pepper and some Tabasco. Squeeze out some lemon juice, salt, pour in some liquid smoke, and knead it. Boil for a couple more minutes and the barbecue sauce is ready. Now we just need to punch it thoroughly through an immersion blender. And pour it into a sauce thing. Done. For our super long burger cooking, we will make the softest brioche bun. Pour some milk into a bowl. And break in half a package of yeast. Add some sugar, salt, and mix it all well. Then we break in 4 eggs. We put the bowl into the mixer. We gradually fill in the flour. After 5 minutes of kneading, you should get a dough flowing off the hook. Cut off 100 grams of butter and throw it into the bowl. Now we knead the dough straight for a long time, for 30 minutes. As a result, it should come off the walls of the bowl. Now we take a baking sheet, pour it abundantly with oil, spread the dough in a baking sheet, spread it out wide, and cover it with some cling film. Now leave the dough to rise in a warm place. After an hour and a half, it is tripled in size. We take off the film, and once again we crush it with our hands. We form some balls and put them on a baking sheet. We place elevations in the corners and cover with cling film so that it doesn't touch the buns. We're waiting another 20 minutes for them to get up. Done. In a bowl, we break 1 egg, pour milk, and mix. We glaze those buns so they're nice and wet. Send them onto the grill and turn on the gas. We will bake at 180 degrees for 25 minutes and the buns are ready. They turned out to be real frickin' soft. The last 4th day. The ribs are already completely marinated. We also need a baking sheet. We open a can of beer and pour it into the baking tray. There's a special grill for the top. Open the package. Shift the ribs to the grid. We unfold the foil from above. And press it tightly from all sides. That's it, we can put it on the grill. And in the meantime, we will make a glaze for them. Fry these cloves of garlic. Dump a glass of thawed cherries. And evaporate the juice a little bit. Pour some pepper into a mortar and crush. And throw it into the sauce. A little tomato paste. Basil, salt, and sugar. Lemon in half and squeeze out the juice. We mix our glaze and it's almost ready. Now we just need to kill it with a blender for about 3 minutes. The ribs have been grilled for 3 hours. We take them out. And open up the foil. We apply cherry glaze with a brush. And shove it back into grill. After 10 minutes, the ribs already look awesome, but we will glaze them again so that the layer is bigger. Another 10 minutes, and the ribs are finally ready. We get them out. We put the ignition bowl on the grill and fill it with coals. We set fire to a tablet of dry alcohol and let it ignite the coals. Done. We pour them into the grill. And we put the bars in place. We proceed to the preparation of the cutlets. We need beef and pork fat. Cut the fat into strips. We cut the largest films from the meat. And cut it into convenient pieces for the meat grinder. Now we take the meat grinder itself, substitute a bowl, and put the meat in the saucer. Now we begin to twist the stuffing. Also finally chop some smoked bacon. They throw that in there too. We open it and take out our dried tomatoes. We cut them finely. Put that into the meat as well. Freshly ground chili pepper. And of course, salt. That's it. We need to mince the meat thoroughly with our hands. Now we form balls from it. We send it to a square of parchment and form a cutlet. We made 3 pieces. We're gonna grill them. While they are being grilled on one side, we will use lettuce leaves and tomato. We cut them. And now we try and cut our homemade cheese into slices. We cut our super soft brioche buns into 2 parts. The pork ribs are still hot, therefore we shift them to the cutting board and very simply take out the bones. Cut them into 3 parts. Turn the cutlets to the other side. Fry them a little bit more and take them out. Now we put the buns on the grill. For literally 20 seconds until the crust appears and take them out. Now we're going to build our burger. We lubricate the top bun with caramelized onions. Tear off a piece of lettuce and put it on the bottom bun. Next comes the juicy burger, 2 slices of homemade cheese, squeeze out the barbecue sauce. Next comes tomatoes, pork ribs, barbecue sauce again, pickled chili peppers, and top it with a bun. That's it, the burger we've been cooking for 4 days is finally ready. Let's try it.